Charles VI, whose grave sorrow it was that he had no son to leave his kingdoms to. But he had failed to perceive his daughter's remarkable capacity. The young Empress hadn't ruled long before the other European sovereigns discovered her unique intelligence, ability, and above all, her indomitable energy and strength of will. In the early years of her rule, she withstood repeated invasions by the armies of Prussia, France, and Bavaria, heartening her soldiers by riding at their head with vigour and panache, appealing at once to their chivalry and their manly pride. Her armies didn't always win their battles. The forces of her implacable enemy, Frederick, King of Prussia, often prevailed, but her determination never wavered even when they lost. Now, in November of 1755, a decade and a half after her father's death, she ruled an empire at peace, its revenues greatly increased, its armies seasoned by warfare and ready to fight again, when called upon, for their empress. Maria Theresa was still, in the opinion of many, a beautiful woman. In her youth she had been exceptionally pretty, with lovely blue eyes, a clear porcelain complexion free of pockmarks, and a thick mane of reddish-gold curls. Her gait is free, her bearing majestic, the Prussian ambassador had written, describing her as a young woman. Her figure large, her face round and full, and her voice clear and pleasant. Her eyes are very large, lively, and mild, he went on, and their deep blue most striking. She has a regular nose, not hooked, and not blunt. She has very white teeth, and they are most charming when she laughs. Although her mouth is large, it is rather pretty, and her neck and chest are well modelled, and her hands are exquisite. He was impressed by her stamina and emotional resilience. Though anguished and hard-pressed by constant warfare, the Empress was neither haggard nor irritable. Her expression is fresh, the ambassador wrote, and her skin very clear, although she gives it but little attention. Her demeanour is sprightly and happy, and her greeting always warm and pleasant. There's no denying that Maria Theresa is a most charming and delightful woman. The English ambassador was even more complimentary. Her person was made to wear a crown, he remarked, and her mind to give lustre to it. Her countenance is filled with sense, spirit, and sweetness, and all her motions are accompanied with grace and dignity. Age and 14 confinements had thickened her torso and added triple chins to her round face, yet at 37 she was still handsome, her posture regally erect, her lovely blue eyes benign, if watchful. She took pains with her appearance, devoting the first hours of her long day, she customarily rose at dawn, to dressing, grooming, and the elaborate curling and pinning and powdering of her hair. Cruel court observers said that she did this in a futile attempt to keep her husband faithful to her, yet this can only have been part of the reason. Her good looks were an asset, and she knew it. She used her femininity, as great queens of the past had done, to arouse her subjects' protective instincts and win their hearts as well as their respect. As for her husband's fidelity, on this delicate issue, Maria Theresa was a realist. She knew that Francis had mistresses. She suffered in consequence, and she rose above her suffering. Her husband was not so much lecherous as indolent and pleasure-loving, she told herself. He was fond of her and of their children. God had blessed her with a good marriage, and she would not spoil it by her recriminations. As she once advised another woman whose husband had given her cause to complain, avoid reproaches, long explanations, and above all, disputes. And at 37, the Empress was still extraordinarily robust. Her Lord High Chamberlain once noted that she could withstand all fatigues wherein she exceeds many men. She relied on her exceptional vitality to carry her through the demands and strains of her long work-days, and to provide her with enough left-over energy to recreate herself strenuously, and to bear and raise her growing brood of children. When she walked, she strode like a man. Her swift, purposeful gait was her trademark. It was said that she could never successfully disguise her identity at masked balls.